While we continue to assess the feasibility of external forces chiming in, yes or no, the biggest question perhaps remains what happens from within. And so exiled Crown Prince Reza Pahlavi takes to the podium yet again today, announcing, "I am not to take power. It's the people who are to take power." Let's take a listen.
This war is the result of the selfishness, hatred, and terror of one man, Ellie Khamenei. I have a direct message for Ellie Khamenei. Step down, and if you do, you will receive a fair trial and due process of law, which is more than you have ever given any Iranian. Today, I am announcing that I am establishing a formal channel for military, security, and police personnel to reach out directly to me, my team, and our expanding operation. This is a secure platform to efficiently manage the growing volume of inbound communications and requests from those breaking with the regime and seeking to join our movement.
And now I am delighted to welcome the renowned journalist and one I am also honored to be calling my dear friend, editor-in-chief of the Independent Persian, Camelia Entekhabifard. Dearest Camelia, thank you so very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for hosting, dearest Ellie. It's my pleasure to call myself as your good friend and the rest of this I-24 people. Thank you.
Yes, we've been walking a long journey side by side for many years, and we will get to that in a second. But I would like to first begin our conversation by asking you, how are you? How are your loved ones, wherever they may be, at these challenging times?
It is a very challenging times, dear Ellie. I have relatives, the first-degree family in Tehran, and I consider myself a relative of 80 million Iranian people. They have a stress, and there is, as you know, bombardment nearby residential places too, which is makes people be scared. There are casualties, and the civilians always get harmed during any confrontation and war. And there is still fears of regime brutal revenge in case if this regime change or the willing for the regime change or the opportunity granted to the Iranian people hasn't been succeeded. All of those frustrations and excitement, it reflects the public's. Of course, I'm very much worried for my relatives, especially the time when the internet and the landline and the mobile phone had cut enough for 48 hours. But we are just praying for, I pray for the civilians inside Iran, inside of Israel. And I can't wait to see the freedom, the opportunities, and a total good wave of the peace has been surrounding the Middle East.
So let's do focus, if you will, on the opportunity here. How feasible is that? Change of regime, not just for the Iranian people, but most importantly, by the Iranian people. How would you assess the current strength of the Ayatollah's regime at the moment?
Iranians are the people waiting for a momentum, and this momentum should be guaranteed to them. The risk for their life is not as much as brutally can be cracked down by the system. Nationally, we act very differently, and this comes from the historic experiences. Iranian experience 1400 years ago, the Arab attack, and then Mughal attack. We have these experiences, how to shield ourselves and how we wait for the momentum to seize the opportunities. And we had the wave of some demonstrations in Iran in the past, at least 10 years ago. This time, based on the previous experiences, I believe Iranians waiting for some other opportunities to make the regime changes with less civilian casualties, with less confrontation with this system and regime. And here you just air some part of the exiled King Prince Reza Pahlavi's press conferences. Ellie, this is a momentum. The world can see how they destroyed the previous system in Iran, the late king of Iran, by this conspiracy of regime changes. They thought this is strong Iran. this well-developing country is a threat for the power of some of the big powers in the world. Of course, I believe that many Iranians believe that by facts, which there were some powers behind of the changes in Iran back to 1978, and that affected everyone's lives in the world, in the United States, in Europe, in the Middle East, and maybe they come to this conclusion, which it was good for the Iranian, it was good for the world 46 years ago, and that was the reason President Trump tweeted, "Let's make Iran great again."
Yes, and when we see the Evin prison, for example, being targeted, so this, if you will, this attempt to invigorate the Iranian people to break this barrier of fear, this wall of fear, is of course being underlined. Well, as mentioned, dearest Camelia, we go long way back. To be precise, this week it will be exactly a decade. The nuclear talks between world powers and Iran in Vienna. I want us to take a quick listen now to what you told me back then. You are talking about this secret desire of the Iranian people to communicate not only with the West, but with Israel.
Iranians are not against Israelis at all. And to be honest with you, there are so much compassion and support it has existing in Iran in between ordinary Iranians. Today might be the governments has been in a clashes with each other, which they cannot see any ground common attraction, but definitely Iranians were seeing themselves like they are friends with Israeli. They are for many, many years.
Well, younger then, but definitely wiser now. Are we nearing this point where this vision you so articulately illustrated way back when becomes reality? A message from you, Camelia, to the Israeli people.
Sure. I wanted to mention this interview when you start. That was the most watched interview on social media, and give me credit for this brave interview. Probably the first very much Iranian sat with an Israeli journalist for a lengthy interview in Vienna. Thank you for this interview. It still is very meaningful to myself, and still I cherish this interview, and still I am believing to this interview very much. Iranians and Israelis are the best friend of each other at this region. At the time which none of these countries around of Iran were existing, Iran had the border so close even to the place today called Israel. And the friendship comes from beyond that, 3,000 years ago. Iran still have the biggest Jewish community in the Middle East, and many Iranian Israelis living in the Middle East and still consider themselves Iranians, as I know them and I talk to them rapidly, so they are friends. And there is no better allies for Israelis than Iranians, and Iranian cannot have better support than Israelis. The war between Iran and Israel is not the war between Israel and the Iranian people. But I don't like to see the interferences and the foreign attack in my country. This is correct. But speaking about Iranian and the Israelis, they are the best friend of each other. I don't have any doubts that Israelis and the Iranians can have the same relation as they had pre-revolution, and Iran can be the safest place for the Iranian Jews, not only for any Jews around the world, to see this place as their home. There is evidences during the World War when Hitler was killing and executing the Jewish. Iran was the best place for them to get shelter and come from all over the Europe to Iran. There is a factual evidences. It is heartbreaking to see now it's what's happening, but I can't wait to see the light is rising. And if I have a minute to tell you, even the operation in Israel called the Rising Lion, many Iranians in the past few days pointed out and said maybe that means the signal of our flag before the revolution, that was a lion. And today we saw that the prime minister's wife has been pointed out, they had the two flags of Israel and the flag of the monarchist time, or better to say the national flag of Iran, next to each other. Let's have hope all of this operation is for the good sake of the Iranian and also the Middle East, and a total peace for everyone.
Dearest Camelia, I am not one who is very good at hiding her emotions, but I must tell you, my eyes are tearing at the moment because for the past decade, you have shared this vision of a new Middle East with me, and I feel that now more than ever before, our mutual plan to meet in Tehran is perhaps becoming more and more the potential reality. Thank you for being an eternal dreamer, Camelia Entekhabifard. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie. Thank you.